Hello, Mr. Mason. This is in response to your 20 creationist law or 20 evolutionist rather logic errors. Yeah, I'm having a hard time accepting any of those. For example, the fuzzy words. That's pretty much how science works. We don't say that anything is 100% positive. For example, it's not 100% positive the dinosaurs existed. It's not. It's 99.99999 on and on and on, and it's proven beyond all reasonable doubt to any reasonable person, but it's never proven. That's simply how science works. We can't simply say, God did it. Oh, by the way, I'm a theist. Definitively, I believe in God unequivocally, and I'm also an evolutionary biologist, but nonetheless, that's how science works. We don't deal in absolutes. The world is a shade of gray, and most people realize that. So that has absolutely nothing to do with evidence, for example, and most creationist or most evolutionist rather arguments do mention the fact that, you know, evidence suggests, this experiment suggests. I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to when you say that doesn't happen. Secondly, second law of thermodynamics. This is a perfect example of why you shouldn't argue something that you don't know anything about. Yes, the Earth is an open system, but you oversimplify it. It's not just deterioration due to the second law of thermodynamics, because by your logic, why are trees growing? I mean, how do we perform any complex anabolic reaction in our body whatsoever? I mean, how am I speaking these words? I mean, I had to have built up these macromolecules. How do I do that? It's really easy. It's thermodynamic coupling. That's what happens in everybody's body and in nearly every system on the Earth. It's simply the fact that there is a net increase in entropy. It's just balanced. You have this much disorder and this much order, resulting in that much disorder increase. It's basic thermodynamics. It's not anything complicated. I'm not sure why you're arguing that. Thirdly, the bandwagon. I mean, it's definitely something to know, or to note, that when 99.98% of biologists, and yes, that is correct, 99.98%, I can get you several independent Gallup and other polls if you want, scientists accept evolution. To put that in perspective, there are 4 times more historians who believe that the Holocaust never happened. So when everybody who's educated on the subject feels the same way, I do think that that is a pretty strong evidence for it, period. The mechanism versus the fact is the 4th thing that you said. How we're debating the mechanism but we already assumed it's a fact. Like, are you serious? That's how science works. For example, the dinosaurs are dead. That's a fact. How did they die? I mean, we've got lots of theories, well, not lots of theories. I mean, it's pretty much assumed that there was one thing, but has it been 100% proven without using any fuzzy words? No, not really. In fact, there could still be dinosaurs alive, but I'm not arguing that because I don't want to use any fuzzy words. But nonetheless, the fact that we're getting into the nitty-gritty mechanisms shows that, yes, evolution happens. There's beyond reasonable doubt that this has been shown. There's a substantial amount of evidence. It's just a matter of how does it happen. For example, birds, did they evolve from terrestrial reptiles, or did they evolve from reptiles which dwell in the trees? Those are the nitty-gritty aspects of speciation that we're dealing with. It has nothing to do with whether or not it happens. 5th is the emotional words. Are you kidding again? You say, believe this or you're going to hell. I mean, I'm sorry, but it can't get much more emotionally charged than that. I mean, I think that's pretty much ridiculous there. And you also said that we don't teach the Bible in schools because we don't want people who don't know God and God's Word to get it wrong. Well, perhaps that's probably the best argument that I've heard for why we shouldn't teach evolution in schools, because, as you clearly demonstrate, people who don't know anything about evolution clearly get it wrong, as you have. 6, the association of creationism and astrology. It's actually kind of funny that you mentioned this, because it was Dr. Michael Behe who, under oath, admitted that if intelligent design was to be considered as science, so would astrology, palm reading, and things like that. So it's technically one of your own doing that. And by the way, Dr. Behe accepts common descent. I actually have emails from him if you would like to see those. Also, why do they refuse to debate? Because that's the thing, is you guys like to... The only reason that you want to debate people is you want to put issues side by side, evolution and intelligent design, and make them appear equal. Like, we should debate them like there is any question among those educated people who know anything about it. But there's not. They're not equal ideas. One's supported by a mountain of evidence and the other isn't. Actually, if you want, let's debate. Why don't you and I? I mean, quite frankly, typically I wouldn't debate somebody who was going for creationism for the same reason that I wouldn't debate somebody who suggested that the earth was hollow. You want the ideas to appear equal, but I'll make an exception. Why don't we debate? You say that evolutionists always use. Just pick a time or a place, and I'll be more than happy to debate on any issue that you would like regarding evolution. You can pick the topic, and I'll just be there. Let me know what you want to do. Send me a message, by all means. Have a good night.